Hi, dear students. We are discussing the chapter solid state, and I think already you saw the classes in the Victor's channel and you have some idea about it. So here I'm only explaining only some important points. The first one is isotropy and anisotropy. We can see what is meant by isotropy and anisotropy. This is a characteristic of crystalline solid. Anisotropy is the characteristic of crystalline solid. What is anisotropy? When we measure some of the physical properties in different directions, we will get different values. That is anisotropy. That is one of the characteristics of crystal. Anisotropy is the difference in some of the physical properties like electrical resistance or refractive index when measured along different directions in the same crystal. That is anisotropy, and that is a characteristic of crystalline solid. Isotropy, that is a characteristic of amorphous solid. That means if you measure the same physical properties, refractive index and electrical resistance vertically, horizontally or diagonally, you will get the same value. There is no change. That is isotropy. What is anisotropy? When you measure the physical properties in different directions, vertically, horizontally or diagonally, you will get different values. Anisotropy is a characteristic of a crystalline solid. Another important one is when you cut it with a sharp edged tool, crystalline solid will give a clear cut, a smooth surface will form. But amorphous solid will give an irregular cut. That means the surface may not be smooth. Another important characteristic. Other characteristics are very easy to remember and it may be clear to you. Long range order for crystalline solids. Long range order. Then sharp edge when it cut with a knife or clear cut. Crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature. Crystalline solids have sharp melting points. So total 4 points. Similarly, in the case of amorphous solid, what happens? First one, short range order. When you cut it with a sharp edged tool, you will get a regular cut or irregular surfaces. Isotropic in nature. Amorphous solids have no sharp melting point. Examples are given here. Sodium chloride, all the metals, graphite, diamond are examples of crystalline solids. Amorphous solids, plastic, rubber, glass, these are examples of amorphous solids. Now the crystalline solids, they are classified into 4 based on the particles present in the lattice site and the binding force between the particles. Which are the 4 types of solids? The 4 types of solids are molecular solids, covalent solids, ionic solids, and metallic solids. Molecular solids, covalent solids, ionic solids, and metallic solids. And these covalent solids in the binding force is covalent bond. In covalent solids, binding force is covalent bond. And particles present at the lattice site are atoms. Particles are atoms and the binding force is covalent bond. That is a covalent solid. Example, graphite, diamond. It's a property. Diamond, you know, one carbon is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms and therefore there is no free electron. It is not a conductor of electricity, but at the same time, graphite, one carbon is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms and there is free electron, so it is a conductor of electricity. So when we discuss the properties of covalent solids, some of the covalent solids are conductors of electricity, some others are not conductors of electricity. And in case of covalent solids, some of them have low melting and boiling points, some others have high melting and boiling points. Now the second one, molecular solids. The particles are molecules. Particles are molecules and the binding force is van der Waals forces of attraction. Hydrogen bond is an example. Van der Waals forces of attraction. Example, ice. Particles are H2O molecules and these H2O molecules are attracted through hydrogen bond. Molecular solids example, ice, solid water. Then solid oxygen, another example. So liquids on crystallization gives molecular solids, or gases on solidification gives molecular solids. They are usually, the melting and boiling points are low because of the weak intermolecular forces of attraction. Now the next one is ionic solids. Constituent particles are positive and negative ions and the attractive force ionic bond. Example, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride, calcium hydroxide, all these are examples, ionic solids. You know it. Ionic solids, because of strong electrostatic force of attraction, high melting and boiling points, and they are hard in nature, not conductor of electricity in solid state, but in molten state they can conduct electricity because of the movement of ions. And the last one is metallic solids. Metallic solids, the constituent particles are positive metal ions. And the binding force is metallic bond. What is metallic bond? It is the attractive force between positively charged metal ions and negatively charged electrons. All the metals are examples of metallic solids. So covalent solids, molecular solids, ionic solids, and metallic solids. So here we mentioned the constituent particles. Where the particles are present? The particles are present in lattice sites or lattice point, and we have to see what is lattice site or lattice point. What is lattice point or lattice site? Lattice points are the points which represent particles of a crystal. ക്രിസ്റ്റലിലെ പാർട്ടിക്കിൾ കാണപ്പെടുന്ന പോയിന്റുകളെയാണ് നമ്മൾ lattice point എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. The points where the particles of crystals are present, that is lattice point. We'll use another term, space lattice. Space lattice means the particles are arranged three-dimensionally in a crystal lattice. And that total three-dimensional region, that is known as space lattice or crystal lattice. So space lattice or crystal lattice is the three-dimensional region in which the particles of a crystal are arranged. The whole crystal, that is space lattice or crystal lattice. unit cell. Each crystal has a unit cell. That means the smallest three-dimensional region in a crystal, which one repeats again and again, over and over, you will get the entire crystal lattice. എല്ലാ ക്രിസ്റ്റലിലും ഏറ്റവും ചെറിയ ഒരു 3-dimensional region നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. അത് എല്ലാ ഡയറക്ഷനിലേക്കും റിപ്പീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് എൻ്റയർ ക്രിസ്റ്റൽ ലാറ്റിസ് ഉണ്ടാകുന്നത്. So unit cell is the smallest 3-dimensional region in crystal lattice, which repeats again and again, over and over, the entire crystal lattice is formed. Unit cell characterized by 3 angles and 3 lengths. The 3 lengths are edge lengths, A, B, and C. Angles are alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha is against A, in between B and C. Beta is against B, in between C and A. Gamma is against C, in between A and B. So 3 edge lengths, A, B, and C, and 3 angles, alpha, beta, and gamma. You can read it in here. 6 parameters required to tell the property of a unit cell. Which are the 6 parameters? A, B, C, alpha, beta, and gamma. Now the unit cells. We can classify the unit cells mainly into 2. Primitive unit cells and centered unit cells. Primitive unit cells are simple unit cells, very simple one. That means the constituent particles are present at the corners only. The constituent particles are present at the corners only. That is primitive unit cell. But in centered unit cell, particles are present in the corners and also the center of the face, or the center of the body, or at the center of the end. They are centered unit cells. Which are the centered unit cells? Body-centered unit cell, face-centered unit cell, and end-centered unit cell. So in primitive unit cell, particles are present only at the corners, but in centered unit cells, particles are present at the corners. And if there is one particle at the body center, we can call it as body-centered unit cell. If particles are present at the corners and also at the face center, there are 4 faces. So if particles are present in all the face centers, sorry, not 4, how many faces? 6 faces are present. If particles are present in all the 6 face centers, we can call it as face-centered unit cell. And what is end-centered unit cell? Particles are present at the corners and in the alternate phases. Alternate phases or in opposite phases. That is end-centered unit cell. End-centered unit cell. But there are different types of unit cells. Based on the parameters A, B, C, alpha, beta, gamma, we can classify or we can identify 7 basic crystal systems. They are cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, monoclinic, triclinic, hexagonal, and rhombohedral. So in this video, I think it is enough. The 7 crystal system that we can explain in another video. Now you study these portions in detail. Okay.